Well, peace be with you, my brothers and sisters, as we enter into this sacred season of Advent. We enter in with our hearts wide open as we enter into perhaps my favorite liturgical season. As I shared with you this past weekend, Advent has been a rich part of my own history, and God has done some incredible things in my life in this season of Advent. And so it is with that confidence of what God has done in my life and a real anticipation for what God is going to do in your life that I introduced today a series of 24 audio reflections that will really help us get ready for the gift of Christmas by entering into Advent in a completely different way. The question for us today is around preparation. And I think how we prepare is very much determined by what we are preparing for. If you look at the world around us, is preparing for a day. They've got December the 25th circled on the calendar. So that because they're preparing for a day, because they're preparing for an event, the way that they prepare is determined by the very thing they're preparing for. That the shopping season is in full swing. The Santa Claus music is kind of rolling over the airwaves, and folks are getting ready for a day. And so the focus on shopping, the focus on gift giving, the focus on Christmas cards is really the way that they prepare because it's all about a day. Nothing wrong with that. Certainly as long as it's in balance. I don't see that there's anything wrong with us enjoying the season that is amidst us. However, we can't stop there, and certainly that can't be our focus. Because we're, as Christians, as pilgrims on the journey, we're not preparing for a day, we're preparing for a person. And that person is Jesus Christ. That person is going to be the one that draws us into heaven, that saves us on the cross. He is the bridegroom that weds all of humanity back to God himself. And my brothers and sisters, as pilgrims on the journey, we're not preparing the same way the culture is preparing because we're not preparing for the same thing the culture is preparing for. We're getting ready for a person. In fact, we can learn a lot about how to prepare as we look to the very first two pilgrims, that Mary and Joseph, as they found themselves walking from Nazareth to Bethlehem, they weren't getting ready for a day. They were getting ready for a person. Mary, 8.5 months pregnant, knew the son in her womb, had an extraordinary experience of the angel Gabriel and her own annunciation. Oh yeah, Mary knew that she was getting ready for a person. Joseph himself, Joseph had his own experience with the angel also in his own annunciation, where God readied his heart to receive the person and to receive the event in Mary's life. And both Mary and Joseph were prepared for Christmas by opening up their hearts to what God wanted for them. And I wonder what would have happened in Mary's life if she would not have been quiet enough to notice God's presence. What Joseph's life would have looked like if he would not have been quiet enough to notice God's presence. For both Mary and Joseph, as they were preparing for Christmas, were living quiet enough that they were able to recognize God intervening in their life. And I think that's the first thing that we want to do as we prepare for Christmas, is ask ourselves, how quiet are we living? Now, certainly that doesn't mean that we can abandon our responsibilities. We all have lots of things to do. But if we're going to get ready for the person of Christ, we need to first start in our hearts and slow down just a little bit, quieten ourselves even more. As the noise around us perhaps even ramps up louder and louder, actually we're called to get quieter and quieter. So as we take the first steps toward preparing well, I ask us today, how quiet do you find your life? How much extra noise is there that perhaps is unnecessary? And over the next 24 days of our lives, can we just kind of let go of that? Can we put all that aside so that we can really be ready to receive Christ this Christmas? Practically speaking, maybe put down the smartphone, put down that iPad, turn off the radio or the music, or spend less time watching TV, get rid of the laptop and the movies, all the forms of entertainment that in and of themselves aren't bad at all, but can sometimes, I think, distract us from really paying attention to the voice of God. The next 24 days of our lives, we can actually fast. We can get rid of some of the extra noise so that there's more room for quiet. Are you preparing for a day, or are you preparing for a person? Ask yourself that, and then I will help you understand how to prepare. And the first step for us today is to quieten our lives more so there's more room for God's voice. God bless you.